The future of yachts for sale. Why is that such a clever name for this video? You'll find out right now. So the future of yachts for sale, it's a clever name for this video because I'll be talking about the future of the Yachts for Sale channel as well as the future of yachts, and the two are very closely linked, as you can imagine. We've just finished filming the Monaco Yacht Show, and during the show the chatter on the dock, if you like, was all about sustainability, green technology, how to make the yachting industry more friendly for the environment. To my knowledge, there was no big conference on that subject during the show, but certainly in conversation with yacht builders, and I spoke to a lot of yacht builders, everybody's aware that they need to push to make yachting a little bit more environmentally friendly. Now, during the show, I had the opportunity to meet a very interesting yacht owner. He's recently bought his yacht from Northrop & Johnson, and the first thing that he wants to do with it is actually throw the engines away. He's throwing the engines away. He's going to make the yacht into a diesel electric yacht with some very, very cutting edge modern technology. And we discussed the possibility of documenting that whole process, which he's now formally agreed to. And in fact, this morning we had a meeting to discuss the video, and tomorrow we have a meeting with the captain to have further discussions, to do a little bit of fact finding. It's a fascinating project because this particular yacht owner has taken a really quite old yacht built in the 1960s with 1960s technology, beautiful lines. I mean, really, really beautiful classic gentleman's yachts, and he's spending a considerable investment to bring it up to the modern age. With modern technology that will burn a lot less fuel, but a lot less than it's currently doing. So in that example, that's what the future of Yachts for Sale is. We'll certainly be documenting that. And I wouldn't expect to see anything too soon. The yacht's likely to be relaunched in the summer of next year, so we'll be filming quietly away behind the scenes, following what happens. And once the yacht's been successfully launched, we'll be releasing a whole series of videos on that. But that's very typical of the way that the industry is going on the whole. A number of yacht builders approached me during the show to tell me about new projects, which are basically using electricity to power the yachts rather than burning fossil fuels, which is what's happening right now. One particular shipyard will be building a catamaran that will be electrically powered. That's so far off actually happening just yet. I don't want to go into too many details about it, but if it does happen, I'll be there to follow it. Another shipyard has actually built a much faster monohull, which is electrically powered, and I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to film that early next year when it's actually launched and as its sea trials. That's a particularly interesting project because the problems or the challenges with electrically powered yachts is you just can't get the speed on them. It's very, very difficult to produce that much power from batteries that can actually get the yacht on the plane and really get it moving fast. But the yacht builder that I spoke to is talking about speeds in excess of 30 knots. This is a 50-something foot yacht, by the way, that they're building. So not very, very small, but certainly not very, very big either. Nonetheless, a really impressive accomplishment to get those sort of speeds. That's something that I really want to cover in the channel too. And more to the point, it shows the direction that the industry is going in. There's a real push to try to make things more sustainable. On the subject of speed, I'm filming this from Monaco, from our new offices in Monaco. And the Monaco Yacht Club every year for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years has held what they call the Energy Boat Challenge, where people are invited to bring their boats with alternative forms of propulsion. There's some hydrogen-powered boats go there. There's all kinds of different events, one of which is a speed event. And I do know that Anvera won last year in an actual powerboat that was powered electrically. Anvera, by the way, you may have seen some of the videos that I've done on this channel. They build a rib at the moment. It's basically a rigid inflatable boat which folds out at the sides to make a big platform, and it has surface drives. Now, it was that company, Anvera, was started by the people who had the Ferretti offshore Class 1 raceboat team. And then they went on to work for Ferretti in the shipyard. So they have this amazing pedigree of being good quality yacht builders, but also being very involved in the racing scene of powerboats. So it's hardly any wonder that when they built a whole new boat specifically for that challenge, of course they won. I'll put a link in the description below to the page that gives you details about the Energy Boat Challenge. It's a particularly interesting event, but it also shows the way that the industry is heading, and the future is certainly a more sustainable, more environmentally friendly form of yachting. And I absolutely take on board that if we want to be completely green, if you like, our boats would be wooden and they'd all have a sail, but in reality that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I just find it very encouraging that rather than saying there's nothing we can do about it and get on with the normal business, the big yacht builders are certainly embracing the need to basically reduce the emissions from the yachting industry. Actually, during the show, I had I would say the privilege of interviewing Peter Lurson. Lurson build the biggest yachts in the world. They are a colossal and very impressive company with some fantastic yachts. And during that interview, I was able to put that question to Peter Lurson. I said to him, how do you answer the people who say, well, you shouldn't be building yachts at all? I'm not going to tell you what he said, but it was a very good answer. And I really hope that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we can edit that video and you'll be able to watch what his comments were. But the subject of Lurson brings me on to a very interesting statement that Peter Lurson has always said regarding the use of battery power for yachts. He's called that a bridging technology. It represents a bridge between combustion engines and whatever the future for yacht propulsion is. Right now that bridge is in the form of hybrid or diesel electric yachts. But what's at the other end of that bridge? Well, in Peter Lurson's opinion, I tend to agree with him, it's fuel cell technology. Now, also during the Monaco Yacht Show, we were able to film a video for Lurson that goes into detail about that fuel cell technology. I'm really hoping that in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be able to release that video because it's quite incredible what they've been doing. It represents a decade-long research program together with the German government and other massive German industries as the push is there to make a zero-emission yacht. Actually, with fuel cell technology in the form that Lurson are talking about, the only emissions would be water vapor. That is really, really exciting. So what's the future of yachts for sale? Well, yachts that we see for sale in the future, I really hope and I'm confident that we'll see will be far less damaging to the environment, far more sustainable and far greener than they are now. And that's great to be part of an industry that's pushing in that direction. I'm not finished there though, because as you know, very often when I'm lying in bed, I will take a quick look at questions and comments from comments from viewers of this channel. Very often there's some really good comments, and I usually take a screenshot when I see one that's particularly interesting. And John Byron, who watched the video of the $14.9 million Fedship Gitana for sale video, he had this to say, and it's a very good question. Beautiful yacht, he says, but I have a question. You might have already answered it, and one of your videos that I've not seen yet. Is there haggling over the price of the yacht? Yachts seem like one of those high-end items that seem to scream, if you have to haggle over the price, you just can't afford it. But would it be normal or forbidden to counteroffer with 10 million for this particular yacht? What about a much higher end yacht like Sunrays, which is 129 million euro? If a serious and qualified buyer to request a 20 to 40 million euro price reduction, and I'm comparing this with the real estate market where initial offers of 30% less than the asking price is normal, would the yacht owner even consider it? I'm simply trying to wrap my mind around how these negotiations for purchases work. So, what a great question. And actually that comment there came hot on the heels of another comment, and I don't remember the name of the individual who made the comment, but somebody commented that nobody ever pays more than 60% of the asking price. And they were categoric on that. In fact, I think he finished his comment saying, wake up people, haggle, haggle, haggle. And whereas right that haggling actually does take place in almost all yacht sales, 60% of the asking price is absolutely not the standard by any means whatsoever. As a broker, I represent buyers and I represent sellers. And the buyers and the sellers are always totally different, one person from another, in terms of their character, in terms of their personality, in terms of how they've made their money, and in terms of their expectations. Some sellers expect an incredibly high price for their yacht, and as much as the broker says you will never get that price, they still insist on putting it up at that price because they expect to have to negotiate. And they'll say, I'm not taking anything less than asking price, but actually when an offer comes along close to it, you can normally get them to accept. Other sellers, on the other hand, have a completely different outlook, and they feel that it's insulting to a buyer to ask a far higher price than the actual value of the yacht is. So things vary enormously. Each yacht for sale that you see has a different owner, and each different owner has different expectations. That's why it is good to have a broker who has a pretty good idea of what things are selling for, who can advise you on whether the asking price is realistic, not realistic, what sort of offer you make that could be accepted, what will not be accepted. I've represented sellers sometimes who've seen and I'm just throwing out some numbers here, but a 10 million yacht, a 10 million euro yacht, and they say, David, let's offer 4. Now, whilst it's true that on a very, very rare occasion, massive discounts do take place, the risk that you make in making a very low offer is that you'll offend the seller so badly that you alienate him, and there's no further negotiations. And you can go from 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 8.5, which possibly could buy the yacht, but the seller no longer wants to talk to you because you've absolutely offended him with such a low offer. So my advice from experience in the yacht selling industry is, if you seriously want to buy a yacht, and if the asking price is reasonable for what the yacht is, don't go in with a massively low offer in the hope that it might happen, because all that you'll do is offend everybody involved and they just won't want to talk to you anymore. But in answer to your question, John Byron, there's no hard and fast rule. All buyers are different, all sellers are different. It's up to somebody who's got a good handle of what the industry is all about to advise you on what you should be offering. And then it's up to you as the buyer not to go in too low and completely ruin any hope of a negotiation. I hope that answers your question. It was a very good question, very much appreciated. Any other questions that you have, please do put in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them in future videos. That's it for today. If you enjoyed it, please don't smash the like button, just delicately press it with your finger, and don't forget to subscribe.